The role of air in therapeutic yoga and yoga practices. Air is one of the most vital elements that has taken place a lot of discussion in the theory and practice of yoga. No living being can survive without air. Air has a very much potential energy which is basically dynamic, and it is forcibly activating all the mass encompassed in the biome. The air itself is considered to be the carrier of the dispositions or vasanas, and it is one of the major reasons for the formation of what is called as the chitta. Chitta means the bioconsciousness. The bioconsciousness itself is due to the combination of the air and the dispositions. The air is said to be a gaseous state of the mass which has evolved from the element of sky. The air is understood to be having originated from the tanmatra of the sparsha or touch, but according to Vedadri Maharshi, it is having relationship with the sound. Akashad Vayu. From the sky, Vayu has come. So the every element of air is having its affiliation with the element of sky or Akasha. And now, coming to the significance of the concept of the air functions in basically five ways. One is called as chalana, that is movement. Another is dhavana, that is running. Another is prakampana, that is movement. And then akunchana, that is contraction. And then visarjana, that is excretion. All these are all said to be the five functions of the air. And the yoga texts have classically identified the air into prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana as the major five airs, and also naga, kurma, krukara, devadatta, dhananjaya. The role of the air as a carrier of the bacterial element or viruses is very much remarkable. Air is considered to be one of the basic pathogenic factors in the public health system and personal health system also. The functioning of the air as prana and the functioning of the air as apana is very, very symbolic and important. The concept of prana and apana is thoroughly discussed in many of the yogic texts, and the concept of air is such a great significance that it is said to be the very important concept for the idea of hamsa, which is involved of the puraka, kumbhaka, and rechaka. The word hamsa, in which ha indicates the purusha, anuswara indicates the mind and the air, and sa indicates the visible universe. This hamsa is the key for Raja Yoga, Turiya, Samadhi. This is considered to be very, very important. And the air is basically functioning in leading to the state of Unmani or Turiya or Sahaja Amanaska Sthiti, which is naturally a stillness. The concept of air from the terms of general yoga practices is basically followed through the small exercises and also through the pranayama. Actually, pranayama is a complex management of the air, and pranayama is not considered to be very, very essential by some of the yoga practitioners. And pranayama is one of the vital four pre-yogic practices which are called as the four limbs or purvangas, the other three being yama, niyama, and asana. And pranayama is having an importance in different yogic practices, and it is contributing for the system of what we call as elevation of the kundalini power through ida and pangala, and then suspending ida and pangala and entering into sushumna. This is the functioning of the air. If we totally take or consider the concept of air in terms of yoga therapy, the entire concept of movement of the body, contraction of the body, expansion of the body, vibrant dimensions of the body, the systems of the blood circulation, respiration, and also even the hormone activity are related only with the maintenance of the air. The management of the air is considered to be very, very important and significant. Air is not simply a vital identity, it is a universal identity present in all the living beings. And that is why air is considered to be totally significant, and the organization of the air is considered to be most important. The practices like Rechaka, Kumbhaka, and Puraka, they are considered to be very important because the Puraka is related with the inhalation, the Kumbhaka is related with holding, and Rechaka is related with the exhalation. The inhalation, holding, and exhalation play a vital role. Many of the muscular and skeletal problems are all due to the improper organization of the air. For that, there are basic methods wherein a person can practice breathing simply in three postures. One is a free and comfortable sitting posture, and another is a standing posture, extending his hands up and sidewards, forwards, and downwards, and then the lying posture, wherein the function of the air can be totally positive in the sitting posture, negative in the standing posture, and neutral in the lying posture. These three postures are considered to be very important for the management of the air. The organization of this gaseous element plays a vital role in controlling the internal pressures and also the controlling the surrounding pressure force, self surrounding pressure force, and self suppressive surrounding pressure force. And it is the key for any action, reaction, reflex action, and chain reaction. Without that, the limbs and the muscular systems they cannot be responsive with the functioning of a particular visible. That is basically what we call the role of the air. Air is not simply a carrier of the viruses. Air is the vital dynamic force. It is the chit and it should be equally operated along with the functions of the mass and the space. The equilibrium of the mass, air, and the space is very important in understanding the standards of the health. This particular system of air organization can be found specifically in the practices like Kaya Kalpa, wherein the OS swas or OS breathing is considered to be very important. It is integrating the whole musculoskeletal system and activating the endocrinal and the nervous systems through the movement of the air, particularly when the air is concentrated in the eyebrow center and also the cerebral arch. It plays wonders. It will be totally disconnecting the entire lower functioning below the heart and activates the cerebral zone. It is very, very important in the system and practice of yoga, and that is why we must be very clear to understand that the organization of the air is playing a very vital role, and generally, most of the students of yoga are not in a position to properly organize air, because the total breathing of the air and pranayama are totally different. Hatha yoga is giving more importance to the kumbhakas and ashtaveda kumbhakas like Surya Vedana, Ujjayi, Sheetkari, Sheetali, Kapalabhati. All these practices they are all simply related with the organ specific organization of the air. But actually, air is not organ specific. It may be located with organ specification. For instance, prana locating in the heart, apana locating in the anus, udana locating in the throat pit, and vyana locating throughout the body, and samana locating in the navel area. These are all having a specific function of coordinating the entire mass and the space. So, this is the basic index for the maintenance of the personal health, public health, and also for the elevation of the bioconsciousness from the state of Niruddha to Ekagra. Niruddha is synthesis, Ekagra is perspicacity. Then it leads to Samyama. So, Niruddha, Ekagra, and Samyama are three basic stages which will be playing a very vital role And that is why the function of air should not be forgotten in the yoga practices, and care must be taken to maintain the proper breathing practices, even though not pranayama.